Okay, so you're wondering what should you do to make sure that your child has the absolute best chance to do amazing on their sixth grade state test. As a matter of fact, this could be for any grade, but I'm going to demonstrate for sixth grade. All right, so what you do is you go to a search engine, which I happen to be at Google right now, and I'm going to type in Ohio's state test released questions. All right, I typed it in. At this point, you don't want to go to this one or this one. You wanted to go to this one that says Cambium, whatever that it says, which is Practice Tests Ohio State Testing Portal. All right, here we go. Let's enter that portal. All right, so we are now looking at the home page that you want to be at. If you want to, you can click on an Espanol on top there. Otherwise, just click on Take a Practice Test. All right, once you get to this point, a lot of people like to click on these, but don't do that because now you're going to have to sign in. So just stay as a guest user and then click on sign in. Once you get to that point, then click what grade level. As you can see, you can click on any of the grade levels. So if you have a student in any other grade, you can do the same thing, but obviously sixth grade is the one we want for this. And at this point, it shows all the different tests that you have. So there's English practice, there's math practice, but of course, you just want to mainly practice math. So anyway, I'm just kidding. So math, and you can see that there's one released test questions from 2022, same thing from 21. There's some here from 2019 and so on. You can kind of see 2017 and 2016. So let's just pick 2019. All right. So these are all going to look the same. Doesn't really matter what year you choose. Okay, except it's going to have a different thing where it says, what the title of it, what it is. So spring 19 released items. At this point, don't change anything else. Just click on select. At this point, you have to click on that little button there, because if you don't, then this won't light up as green and it won't let you go. So click on that and then click on the little green button and then click on begin test now. At that point, it will take you to the test. Okay, so before we go any further, I just want to go over some of these up here. Let's see if my writing utensil works. All right, so at the top here, you can see where it says back, next, save, pause, okay, and then these other ones over here on the right side as well. Okay, so obviously these up top, the back and the next, okay, will actually get you back a question or forward a question. The save you actually really don't have to use, okay, because it pretty much saves it live. So as soon as you do something, it saves it. And then don't use the pause because you don't really want to do that unless the teacher gives you permission for that. Then if you go over to the other side, I'm going to take off my writing utensil. If you click on masking, you can see that it's kind of lit up in orange. It's mostly probably used for ELA, but let's say, for example, you're having trouble tracking a sentence or something like that. You can kind of mask on the above and below it so they kind of focus on the sentence that you're looking at, or something like that. So you can use that, or let's say it's math and you're like, okay, I want to know how many are in the column with 3. So you can't possibly see it without doing this. There you go. You know exactly there's one dot above the 3 now. So anyway, so that's masking. Formulas, okay, will show you in math the different ratios that you have available to you. So for example, I'm going to use my writing tool and hopefully it works again. Um, if they ask something like, how many yards are in 3 miles? Well, you just use that, okay, from your formula sheet that you clicked, okay, and you just take 1,760 times 3, and that'll give you how many yards there are in 3 miles, if that's what it's asking, right? So, or you can use any of these other um, ratios that they have set up for you. Okay, so that's what that is for, and that's exactly the reference sheet they're going to have for their 6th and 7th math test. So you can see exactly what they have available. So there's no formulas. So for example, if you need to know what the area of a triangle is, you're going to have to know that it's base times height divided by 2 to get the area of the triangle. So stuff like that is not on your formula sheet. Okay, the other place you can click on is notes. Okay, you can just type in whatever you want there. Okay, and so if you want to make some notes while you're doing a problem, that's what you would do. Next thing is line reader. So if you do that, it kind of shows what is going to be read. Then you would click on this little button and then speak question. All right, and then to stop it, you're going to have to click on that and put stop speaking. Okay, because if you don't do that, it's actually going to read all of this. It's going to say 0 has 1 dot or whatever it's. It's just going to explain everything, including I think the calculator down here below that's available. So you want to make sure that you just click on this and put stop speaking once the question is read. So that's how you do line reader. And then of course zoom in and zoom out. You probably know what that is. If you click on zoom in, it goes in. If you click on zoom out, it zooms out. All right, so that's the tutorial to this point. Let's look at a couple of the questions to just kind of see what type of questions you're actually going to get on the test. So these are questions from previous tests. As a matter of fact, this one is from 2019. So if we read this first one, let me get my marker again so I can draw. So it says Zoe surveys her classmates on the number of days they went to a park in the previous week. She recorded all of the results on the dot plot. Okay, so 0 number of days, 1 number of days, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, so no one went 6 days, I guess. And then the key here says that each dot means 2 classmates. All right, so if you look at 0, okay, that would be 1 dot, which means that's 2 classmates. Okay, if you look at number 1, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 dots. So 4 times 2 is 8. All right, so let's see what question they have for us. How many classmates did Zoe survey? So let's just count the dots. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there's 11. So should I write 11? Nope, you shouldn't do 11 because each dot represents 2 classmates. So it's going to be 11 times 2. So at that point, you would just type in 22, and that would be your answer for that one. And once you have that, you click on next. All right, let's just look at this one. I haven't seen any of these, so let's just give it a shot. Which statement describes a unit rate? Alex eats 3 apples. Let's see. Let's keep going because there's just one Alex and 3 apples. Kyle runs 3 miles in 2 days. Well, that's not per one. Okay, remember a unit rate. Okay, if it says a unit rate, that means it is per one. All right, so it says Zach reads 3 pages of his book per minute. Ooh, 3 pages per minute, per 1 minute. Michael adds 3 cups of sugar for every 2 cups of flour. So that's going to be the answer right there. Zach reads 3 pages of his book per minute. Okay, the A kind of looks like a unit rate, except it's just a statement. Alex eats 3 apples. It's not 3 apples per anything like that. So Zach reads 3 pages of his book per minute. That's the answer for number 2. All right, let's just do another one. Okay, so this one here, this is kind of what we're up against. Sometimes they kind of throw in some very interesting questions. Okay, so it says 3 inequalities shown relate the 3 inequalities shown relate rational numbers A, B, and C. So if A is less than B, then A could be 1, right? And then B could be 2, right? Because A is less than B. And then B is less than C. So C could be 3. So that looks like it's the answer, right? Except they're saying the absolute value of B is larger than the absolute value of C. Okay, so absolute value means distance from 0. And B is 2 from 0. And C is 3 from 0. So that won't work. So you're going to have to kind of mess around with some of the numbers here. So I'm going to pause this just for a second and then figure something out. Okay, here we go. I made a number line to kind of help us understand this. All right, so I changed it and I no longer have 1, 2, and 3 as my answer to make this all work out. So looking at a number line, I made A a -8. Okay, so that is A. All right, and then I made B a -7. Okay, so that is B. So looking at the number line, does that fulfill this one, that A is less than B? Yes, because A is further to the left on the number line. All right, and then C, I made -6. Now I could have chosen different numbers. I just was messing around, and these are the ones I chose. So C is -6. So does that fulfill this one, that B is less than C? Yes, because B is further to the left on the number line than C. All right, now this is where it kind of gets tricky. The absolute value of B. So the absolute value of B is the distance from 7. And so it's going to be a +7. All right, because it's not a negative number. The absolute value is distance from 0, not in a positive or negative way, just the number. How far is it from 0? Well, it's 7 from 0. And then C is 6 from 0. So the absolute value of C is 6. So let's see if that makes sense. Is B, which is, let's see, yeah, actually B is 7. So B is 7, all right? And C, the absolute value of C is 6. Is 7 greater than 6? The answer is yes. Okay, so anyway, that's one of the questions that was on the 2019 test. So just thought I'd kind of share that one with you. Okay, doing one more real quick one, number 4. Basically, we have 19 1/4 yards of ribbon, and we want to find out how many 1 3/4 yards ribbon we can get out of it. Well, then we would just simply divide 9 1/4 divided by 1 3/4. Well, do 19 times 4 plus 1, and that ends up being 77. So 19 times 4 is 76, plus 1 is 77, over 4, which gives us this. And then 1 times 4, which is 4, plus 3 more is 7, which gives us this. And the students have seen this over and over. To solve this one, you keep the first one, you change the division sign to a multiplication sign, and you do the reciprocal, or you flip this one. At this point, you can cross reduce. I see that 7 goes into 77 11 times. 7 goes into 7 once. 4 goes into 4 one time. 4 goes into 4 one time. So it's really not that bad. 11 times 1 is 11. And 1 times 1 is 1, which is basically just 11. So the answer to this one, okay, would be 11. That's what you would put in there. Okay, so on this one here, we are looking at the first one that they gave it as a sample that has a calculator. So if it does have the calculator, you're going to be able to use that. So one day of the test is going to be with the calculator, and one day of the test will be without. Let's just read the question real quick. On Monday, the temperature was negative 7 degrees Fahrenheit in Akron. On Tuesday, the temperature was colder. Oh, wow. Okay, so it was less than -7, which means it's going to be -8, -9, -10. So it's because it was colder, right? So what is the possible temperature? Well, at that point, you would just type in anything that's to the left of the number line of -7. So it could be -8, -9, -10, any number, you would just type it in here and then hit next. All right, and then at that point, you can kind of go through and you can see the rest of the questions. I'm just going to click on to the very, very end. Number 20 is the last one. At that point, you just click on OK. You can click on End Test. Okay, it says yes, you want to check these. It shows you at this point what you did and didn't do. So all the ones that have the red triangles, you didn't do yet. So you have to go back and answer those. So if you click on it, it takes you to that question. Otherwise, you would just click on Submit Test. It says, are you sure you want to submit test? And you do that, and you hit Log Out. And it kind of comes back here. So you can do another practice if you want to. So those are all the instructions on how to do the online testing. You can get those anytime, and I have sent the link so that you can get straight to it as well. So good luck. If you really want your kid to do amazing on the test, get a lot of practices on this because these are the actual questions that were used in previous tests. So pick the different years and try them out. All right, guys, have a great day. Talk to you soon.